history, right here, right now. Good evening, everybody at home and here in the Ferrari Esports studios in Italy. I'm your host, Amanda Busick, and tonight it is my distinct pleasure to welcome you into the very first edition of the Ferrari Velas Esports Series, North America. What a debut into the world of professional esports racing outside of Europe and for the world-famous Ferrari brand. Honestly, this is an incredible venture for me personally as well and for the world of virtual racing in North America. I'm sure everyone at home is just as excited as we are to get this new campaign off to a flying start. Being that this is my first time in esport racing, I figured I should bring along a couple of experts into the show with us. Joining us, you have your two-time F1 Esports World Champion, Brendan Lee, and our esports and real-world racing commentator, Paul Jeffrey.
Thank you very much, Amanda, and ciao everybody at home. Hello North America, how exciting is this? After two incredibly successful years for the Ferrari Velas Esports Series, we're now going to North America for the first time. I really can't wait to see what happens. I mean, I've been involved in this series right from the very beginning. We've seen some incredible racing talents out there. We've seen some brilliant action. And now to offer this opportunity for the US, Canada, Mexico, the new drivers, to give them a chance on the world stage is just something spectacular. And I dare say, this is probably going to be our most exciting, intense series that we've ever had.
Do you know what? The depth of field, the depth of talent in North America is huge. North America has so much rich history within motorsport itself, and now it's going to make its own history in motorsport esports. So I can't wait to see how they deliver on the track. I have high expectations for them though.
Well, you guys can't wait. I can't wait. I'm sure you guys can't wait. And 2022 is set to be one of our biggest years yet. And that's not because we've just taken the series to North America, but we've essentially taken the rule book, ripped it up, and planning for one of the most difficult and challenging seasons yet. We have not one, but two simulations. We have the Assetto Corsa being joined by the Assetto Corsa Competizione, brought to you by Cunas Simulazioni. So now that we have intense qualifying, all-out racing, let's take a good look at what our drivers are going to face this season. Welcome to the Ferrari Velas Esports Series 2022 Championship Format Explanation. This year, the Esports Series will take place on two continents, Europe and North America. But that is not all. This year, the championship is divided between the Assetto Corsa and the Assetto Corsa Competizione, and the car will be the Ferrari 488 Challenge Evo and the Ferrari 488 GT3 Evo 2020. So let's see in more detail the structure of the championship. In order to take part, drivers will participate in hot lap competitions across 8 unique circuits within both the Assetto Corsa and the Assetto Corsa Competizione. With the top 24 times, each qualifier will progress into a dedicated race to decide the top 3 finishers, giving these drivers the opportunity to progress to the regional finals. Whereupon the 24 regional finalists will race for a podium position in both simulations and place into the grand final. The same process will be undertaken for both North American and European drivers, top 3 from each region set to fight it out for overall championship honors. Mixing things up yet further, the grand final will feature a unique sporting format not seen before in the Ferrari Velas Esports Series, with all competing drivers set to travel to Italy for a winner-takes-all on-site activation. See, I told you we had very exciting stuff happening this season, and now it's time for a very special guest to join us. Scuderia Ferrari Formula One driver Carlos Sainz stops by to talk to us about the world of virtual racing in Ferrari and his excitement on the upcoming North American season. Hi, Carlos. Welcome to the Ferrari Velas Esports Series in North America. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
Ciao Amanda, and hi everyone. Thanks for having me on the show. And yeah, it's really exciting, to see the Ferrari Velas Esports series break out into America for a new season. I can just wish you all the best. From Ferrari and from Maranello, we will be following, and we will see how you guys are getting on, so good luck.
Thank you, Carlos. We appreciate the kind words, and you bring up a great point, especially for our North American drivers. How important do you think it is for North America to be included in these big esports activations, such as the Ferrari Velas Esports series?
Well, I think it's absolutely massive. I think lately North America has become a market where we are becoming a bigger and a bigger sport. I think sim racing should come with us to America, like we're trying to do with Velas, and yeah, I think it's a great opportunity, to meet all the fans, to meet all the people that are switching on to the TV. They're so passionate, and lately, thanks to obviously a Netflix show and everything, we are going more and more to North America, and we are receiving a lot more following, a lot more passion from the fans, and I think it's great to see that sim racing is also transferring into this.
Well, it's no secret that NASCAR and IndyCar are big in North America, but GT racing, it's on the rise, wouldn't you say?
Yes, it is. I'm a big fan of GT racing. I always try to follow the 24 hours of Daytona and these kind of races, and I can see that there's a huge level, and Ferrari is doing well there. I think last time we didn't get very lucky because we didn't see a checkered flag, but I'm sure soon we will win it again, and yeah, we will be following. It's great to see the talent that there is in North America. I wish I could race sometime there, but until I'm a bit less busy in Formula One, I will give it a show.
Well, taking it back to the Ferrari Velas Esports series, Carlos, do you expect the competition in North America to be as strong as we've seen it in the European Championships?
For sure. There is no reason why the North American Velas Esports series shouldn't be as tough as in Europe. I think the level of the sim racing drivers is high all around the world, and I'm sure in North America it's going to be the same. I just wish everyone to stay relaxed, give their best. I'm sure they're going to do a great job this season, and we will be following from Maranello, so keep pushing.
We certainly appreciate your time today, but one last question. Any advice to our drivers ahead of this first race in the entire competition?
Yeah, honestly, the biggest thing for me when I have this kind of high-pressure competitions is just to realize and to remember myself how lucky I am, to be in this situation of having to do something that I enjoy so much, that I like so much. So this gives me immediately a feeling to be more relaxed, to embrace the challenge. This would allow me to extract more potential out of myself, more talent, and I think this is the key to performing well. And if not, you can try again next time, but make sure you enjoy the experience and that you push, obviously.
Incredible words. Thank you, Carlos, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you, Amanda. Have a great race, everyone. I'm sure that you're going to have some fun, that you're going to produce some exciting racing, and we will be following from Maranello, and we will be catching up before the season ends. Bye.
See ya. Fabulous stuff from Carlos there. And if you guys want to join us at a future event, you may want to pay special attention to this feature with Ferrari Esports driver David Tonizza. He takes us into the world of trail braking in motorsport on this week's Ferrari 101 Tips and Tricks.
Hi everybody, and welcome to the Ferrari 101 Tips and Tricks. Hello guys, I'm David Tonizza, F1 Esports Pro Champion 2019, and today we will analyze the trail braking. It's a special and extremely useful technique that combines progressive braking and turning into the corner at the same time. It begins with the hard braking in a straight line, but once you're approaching a turn-in, you start releasing the braking pressure and increase the steering angle until the apex. It is used to help the car rotating around the apex in order to make corners in a faster way and so improving lap times. It allows you to start braking a bit later, rotating the car with more control, making you faster overall. A master technique for skilled drivers. And remember, braking is much more than simply decelerating. Now, let's jump on the sim and test it.
First of all, we have to enter the software that controls the pedal board. In this case, we can use the Thrustmaster software, which allows us to change different parameters like the braking percentage, that we of course put the maximum pressure point for braking. Of course, you can also use the Assetto Corsa Competizione control panel to modify these types of parameters the way you wish. It might sound easy, but it will definitely take some time to find the optimal values for you. So take your time to do this. And trail braking can also be the technique that allows you to set faster lap times. And of course also improve your driving skills. As you can see, we can use this technique to approach corners more aggressively, save some time on the delta, and keep the ideal line without any problems. Now, if we try to approach another corner without using this technique, you will surely see that the car will go in understeer, so it's very important to use it to save a lot of time. But also, when you use this technique, you need to be careful with the brake pedal, because if you do it incorrectly and you press too much the brake, you will surely spin. Otherwise, if you leave it too early, of course the car will go in understeer, and instead of gaining a lot of time, you will lose. So guys, these were my tips and tricks on trail braking. Make sure to try it yourself, and see you guys in the next episode.
Thank you, David. Great stuff there. And you can check out our other Ferrari 101 videos on the Ferrari YouTube channel, so make sure to head over there and check out that content. But we are here for qualifying tonight in a North American series, so it's worth noting that we're also racing in Europe again this season. We've already held our first broadcast over there. There was intense racing, good on-track battles. Let's take a look to see who qualified in Europe last night.
From Group 1 at the Nürburgring, Jonathan Riley was a dominant winner from Ivan Sherman-Tinske, with Leonardo Pagano rounding out the top 3 positions. We then moved to Laguna Seca in the United States, and it was Taurus Gudunvincius who took the race victory from Michael Tanitsa and Nico Puntola rounded out the top 3, so great result from the Finnish driver Puntola. Moving on to Zandvoort, Michael Romagnoli was our race winner. Again, another driver that absolutely dominated, from Antonio Fedale and Marcin Swiderich eventually crossed the line in 3rd position. And then we rounded it out at Monza, the home, the Italian Grand Prix, of course, the Temple of Speed, and Wojciech Lukaszek was the race victor from Adrian Kott, who did everything in his power to throw it away, but just about recovered into 2nd position. And then Sandro Tavacanales, apologies for the pronunciation.
Located in Germany and a track of immense natural beauty, the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit is a fantastic venue for a wide variety of racing disciplines. Developed as a short, safer alternative to the legendary Nordschleife track that dominates the German racing scene, the Grand Prix layout still holds charm all of its very own. Featuring a mix of technical and challenging turns and offering drivers a layout that encourages and often promotes great racing action, this track is likely to produce some of the closest and most intense racing of the season. Our very own Laguna Seca is up next. Nestled in the sun-baked hills of California, Laguna is one of the most exciting and difficult road course circuits American motorsport has to offer. While not to the size or scale of some of its national counterparts, what Laguna lacks in sheer size, it more than makes up with character and dramatic corner combinations. At Laguna Seca, our drivers will have to be incredibly aware of their road placement at the track limits, as a small mistake here can quickly lead to dramatic consequences. An old-school European circuit that is either loved or loathed by its competitors is Zandvoort. Qualification at Zandvoort is so important for your hopes of delivering a good race performance, as overtaking on this track is one of the hardest tasks of the season. Although presenting few opportunities to pass, danger is always just a stone throw away to the drivers, and mistakes here can be punished harshly. If not by the track and surrounding barriers, then certainly by your rivals, who simply cannot afford to leave even a hint of passing opportunity to their rivals. Known globally as the Temple of Speed, Monza is about one thing and one thing only: speed. Drafting is key to doing well at Monza, alongside keeping the car on the gray stuff and maximizing the use of curbs on those tricky chicanes. Something of an extreme opposite of Zandvoort, here at Monza it is very possible to overtake a rival with relative ease. But that doesn't mean this one will be a breeze for our drivers, as high speeds and high stakes often lead to more than just a little drama on the track. Well, now that we know the tracks, we know the format, you got words of advice from Carlos Sainz, I guess there's one thing left to do, and that is to go racing. Well, it is my pleasure to introduce you to your North American commentary team of DJ Clark and Jesse Lee. As we get closer and closer to this green flag falling for race number 1, gentlemen, it's over to you.
Welcome everyone to the Nürburgring as we get ready for the Ferrari Velas Esports series. My name is DJ Clark, joined here in the booth by Jesse Lee, and I cannot think of a better place to start this series than the Nürburgring. Tight, technical, twisty, but plenty of chances to overtake, Jesse.
Yeah, it sure is. It's one of those racetracks that has such a very long history. It's always played host to fantastic racing. Today is just another notch in that belt. We're going to see some fantastic cars take to the Nürburgring today and do battle for a spot in the top 3.
Yes, they will, and as you said, we have got to be keeping an eye on that top 3 because those will be the drivers to automatically advance into the regionals at the end of the year, those top 3 positions. And with qualifying here, not going to be as important, I think, necessarily, as there are plenty of areas to overtake, but you still want to put yourself up towards the pointy end of the field, Jesse. You don't want to have yourself to be doing a lot of work over the course of the race.
Couldn't have said it better myself, DJ. Giving yourself a front row start here is important. It gives you the best chance to make something happen, and especially considering everybody fighting over those 3 spots, it's going to be tight going down into turn number 1.
Yes, it is. Going into the How Cook, that Mercedes-Benz Arena section, plenty of areas to fight back. But there you see your qualifying order out on the screen. Mexico, the United States, and Canada all represented here in this North American series. Plenty of amazing talent up on the screen. And it's got to be said, Christopher Severt there up at the top. He is going to be one to watch with that pole position.
Yeah, Severt has proved himself a very quick racing driver, and certainly I think we could all agree he's going to be probably the man to beat tonight.
Yes, he is. I'd also keep an eye on DeBon and Woodrow starting in those preferred top 3 positions. Remember, top 3 will advance on here as we work our way down the grid at this fantastic circuit. Drivers just getting themselves ready to go. And Jesse, this is the time when you got to kind of calm the nerves a little bit, get yourself into the groove. You don't want to get too excited before the race starts.
No, you don't. You don't want to get over eager on the start of the race and make a mess of it down into turn 1. If I'm Riley, Rivera, and Harris, I'm probably the most nervous. You know that you're not going to advance in that position, but you know what you have to do, and that's at least make one pass, make it happen.
Yes, it is. As here we come to the green. Severt there bleeding the cars around the final Coca-Cola hairpin onto the main straight at the Nürburgring, waiting for the green flag to fly. That number 4 leading us down, and there goes the green. We are racing at the Nürburgring. It's a good getaway from there from Severt, trying to see a little bit of a challenge on the outside. There is DeBon, though, as they go down 2 by 2. Noah's Ark into the corner. It's later onto the brakes for Severt. Little bit of a run there to the outside from behind. It looks like everybody's able to get through that first corner nice and easy.
That was fantastic start by everybody. That was very, very workmanlike down into the corner. Nobody had an issue, and they're all still in it at this point. That was very close racing between DeBon and Severt up at the front, but no contact as far as I can see.
None at all. Woodrow here under a little bit of an assault from Riley as we jump on board with Rivera as he tries to work his way past Riley, getting up into those top 3, working their way now down into Ford and Valvoline. Little bit of an offline move there from Riley up ahead. That could compromise him.
Riley knows exactly what they have to do. They're looking in front of them, trying to get a spot away from Woodrow in front, and Rivera's hoping they can follow suit, and why not do it down into the hairpin? Nobody with a run this time, though.
Nobody with a run. We're staying single file here as they start to climb their way back up the hill and through the ever-fast Schumacher S here, sweeping their way through the corner. It continues to be Sievert, DeBon, and Woodrow up in those top 3 transfer positions. Erie Riley trying to close in behind in that 15 car, about 0.4 of a second behind Woodrow.
Sure is. Sievert out front trying to make a little bit of a gap on DeBon behind to just confirm that they will get an automatic bid to the next round. Everybody behind them still very close indeed, scrapping over those positions. You don't have to win this race, but you still need that podium, right? So Rivera is going to try everything to get by Harris here.
Not able to get it done down into the NGK chicane as they clobber over the curbs here, climbing their way back onto the Coca-Cola hairpin. Starting to get a little bit of a breakaway up in front for the top 3, about 7/6 of a second, separating them out. But here comes the draft into play down the main straightaway. Is anybody going to be able to have a move going down into the Haug Hook?
These cars are incredibly fast, faster than the GT3s that you might be familiar with. They're very fun to drive, and they're very rewarding at that. And these drivers are putting them through their paces. Look at the work of the hands on the steering wheel of Ricardo Rivera.
Really getting close to the back of Riley there as we take down under the 20 minutes to go. Mark Rivera having to back off a little bit. I think that could compromise the line a little bit, and watch for Harris behind there as they work their way into the Haug Hook. This could be a little bit of an unintended opportunity indeed. That's Rivera. I'm not sure if he's going offensive or defensive there to cover off the line.
Well, he certainly has gained a spot there. That was excellently executed. Look at this. Now moving for P4. Can Rivera do it around the outside? Thinks better of it. Cuts down to the inside. A little bit wide from Riley there. Is that inviting an opportunity? Looking down to the inside is Rivera through the arena. No, covered off by Riley.
And that is the most perfect defensive line you can drive there if you are Erie Riley. Absolutely parking the car at the apex, preventing any crossover move from Rivera, holding onto that 4th place position as if their life depended on it.
That was a brilliant defensive job by Riley. Rivera doing everything they possibly can, giving themselves a chance here. Just fantastic driving by the both of them. Nice and clean, the way you like it.
Yeah, exactly. Not a lot of bumping and rubbing here as there looks like a little bit of a run. We jump around here as now it's DeBon up in a little bit of trouble here. Woodrow coming up from behind. Could we see a pass for P2?
Oh, I don't know about this, DJ. I'm not sure I would risk it here. These drivers are safe in the position that they're currently in, DeBon, Woodrow. I don't know if I would even try to do it, even if I thought I was quicker. I think Woodrow is, but I don't think DeBon is going to let him by.
No, and with that 16-second advantage that they have over Riley behind, I think just staying in line here is going to be the name of the game. If you are able to just keep these cars in line, not push too hard, and get into those automatic top 3 transfer positions, that is going to be the way to go. DeBon, though, definitely has his mirrors full of that number 14.
He's certainly not backing off. If I was Woodrow, I'd probably have done just that. But what about our winner, DJ?
Our winner here, Christopher Sievert, coming out of Coca-Cola for the final time, is going to take victory in a commanding fashion to the tune of about 5 seconds. A great run for him. DeBon and Woodrow, the next 2 to cross over the line, they're moving on.
What a brilliant 3 cars. They got away early, and they deserve to move on.
Yes, indeed they do, as that'll transition us over to our second race here at Laguna Seca. WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca nonetheless. Switching over here to Assetto Corsa, still racing those 488 challenge machines. And qualifying here, Jesse, this is going to be a little bit more important, I have to think.
Yeah, this track is a lot more narrow than where we just came from, isn't it? It's hard to make a pass here, not impossible, and you are going to see a lot of late dives, I would think.
Yeah, specifically going down into the Andretti hairpin, that second corner there, the sort of double apex hairpin to start off the lap. There you see a little bit of the track layout. The other area to talk about, obviously, the world infamous corkscrew. You can get a pass there, but you've got to be very, very careful as we see your qualifying order on your screen.
Well, this qualifying order is very fantastic. See all the names here. A nice spread, if you ask me, from the nations of North America. You got the United States, Canada, and Mexico, of course, all represented here and all pretty much represented in the top 10.
Yes, indeed they are, as now drivers line up on the grid for a standing start here in AC, focusing on Cody Lawyer as we see the lights starting to come up, and And there go the lights. We are racing in Laguna Seca. It's a good getaway for the top two as they start to work their way through the number 77 in behind there. Cody Lawyer trying to see if he can get anything. Big move around the outside for second place as they come down in there. That's Woodward trying to get around Jurovic, but I think Woodward going to be able to try to hold that out. Jurovic trying to fight back through Andretti.
He's not going to be able to do it, DJ. Woodward's going to go back to the point. Jurovic is going to be in second place. But what about that start from Cody Lawyer? He got swamped, lost a couple of spots. He's out of the transfer position now.
Yeah, Diorsi now ended up into that transfer position in that bright yellow Ferrari as they go working their way up into turn 4 here to start the climb up the hill. This is where it's very easy to pick up some understeer, run a little bit wide. Nicholas Rojas having a little bit of contact there in the back with Barty.
Rojas there nearly ran out of racing room, but they thought better of it and got all back onto the racetrack just in time. You want to be single file for that stretch. What about Gianluca Dorsey in third place? This is a brilliant run for them. They seized the opportunity on the initial start and now sets their sights on Jurovic in front, hoping to gain a little bit of a gap right now.
And a little bit of an alternate line there going through Rainy Curve for the 36 of Diorsi. You've got to say there, it's not what you expect, not necessarily hitting that inside apex, but here comes Diorsi with a big move into the final corner on Jurovic, sends it in deep, but he's not able to get it woed up. Jurovic able to fight back.
Jurovic had to surrender that final corner, but that wasn't the end of the tail. He just went ahead and braked extra hard, turned hard left, and got back by him whenever Dorsey went a little bit wide. Excellent move.
Excellent move again. Dorsey looking to try to fight back a little bit through Andretti, but Jurovic cagey to that move. He's going to be able to block it off a little bit. We look out the back of Dorsey now as that's Cody Lawyer trying to close in behind as well. The action electric in the top 5.
Lawyer needs to make up for lost time. They see the transfer spot, the final transfer spot right in front of them, but they got to get up there and make the pass. And if Dorsey is going to threaten Jurovic, that might be just what he needs.
Yes, it is. A little bit of a look to the outside there, coming up through turn 5, trying to see if there's anything to do, but I don't think Dorsey's going to be able to have it, but Cody Lawyer recognizes that there is a little bit of an opportunity. He's starting to get that number 4th place machine around, looking to the inside. Could we see a move coming up through the corkscrew? They're going to be side by side. Lawyer's going to have full commitment, but he backs off before they plunge down the hill.
Once again, a smart move by Lawyer there. He saw his life flash before his eyes into this championship and knew, well, I could try to make that move, maybe make contact, or know that they're faster. Keep in mind, Cody Lawyer did qualify 3rd here, so they must think that I have a little bit more speed than Dorsey and maybe trying to get it done the right way. But in either way, in my opinion, smart move to back out there.
Yeah, but it did cost him a little bit of time. Fox starting to come up behind there just a little bit as you see that blue and yellow Ferrari behind, closing in the mirror. A little bit of a draft coming on. We go on board with Fox as he looks to the inside of the Andretti hairpin, the 73, trying to get later onto the brakes. Is that going to be a successful move? Lawyer looks for the crossover, but Don Fox has it covered.
I didn't see that coming. Don Fox out of nowhere makes a move in the Andretti hairpin. New challenger into P4.
And they keep the battle going down now on the run out of the hill. These two absolutely glued together as they run. Cody Lawyer desperate to be able to get back into that 5th place position, but it's not looking like he's going to be able to do it here. Cody Lawyer again, they plunge down the hill, waiting to see if he's got anything. Cody just looking like he is a little bit swamped out here, starting from 3rd place, now finding himself down in 5th, and he both run wide.
Well, they both go a little bit wide there, but for my money, Cody Lawyer got a little bit too much of the dirt, slowed himself down even more, and now Dorsey is all alone in P3. Can Fox get there? 2.2 seconds the gap. It's going to be a big ask in 15 minutes, but not incredibly easy to do. We'll see if he can get there.
We'll see indeed. Cody able to get a little bit of a better run there as they make the way up towards the hill. Again, have to be commitment. Oh, we've got a problem in the back. That's Rojas and I believe Savalas.
Couple of cars off. Don't know exactly what happened there, but they are off in the background, and that will pretty much mean the end of their hunt for the grand final.
Yes, it will, but as we tick closer down, Brian Woodward takes the white flag here with a whopping 9-second advantage over Jurovic. Dorsey still holding on to that 3rd place position. It looks like those 3, barring any issue, are going to be locked in.
How important was that repass in the Andretti hairpin for Brian Woodward? Absolutely got beat by the 2nd place car and went ahead and retook it down into turn 2 and 3.
Yeah, that's what you've got to be able to do to try to advance here. You've got to balance that aggression and that calmness across the board, but almost a little bit of a victory lap here at this point for Brian Woodward as the clock hits 0 and he starts his climb up the hill and back down again for the checkered flag.
Maybe the most dangerous time for a racing driver. You know that you're safe. There's no way anybody could catch you. Maybe going off, gets close, flirts with it, does Woodward, but looks calm, cool, and collected on their way to collect the flag.
Yes, he does. One more corner to navigate as he pulls his way here on to the main straightaway. Going down, taking the checkered flag is Brian Woodward, advancing on here today. Jurovic and Diorsi will be the next behind him there. You see Jurovic coming out of that final corner and that bright yellow Ferrari pulling in behind him.
What a fantastic race. All three of these drivers had to earn it. Passing going on inside the top 3. Brilliant race.
Absolutely brilliant, and as we said, Brian Woodward, Alexander Jurovic, and Diorsi, the ones to advance. And now we move on to race number 3. This one taking place in the dunes of the Netherlands at Zandvoort. We switch back over to ACC. And if you thought passing was difficult at Laguna Seca, whoo, have I got something to show you here at Zandvoort, Jesse.
Well, this track is notorious for its no passing. Of course, there are a few places where you can get passing done, and certainly we'll see that today. The S, and of course, turn number 1, the hot spots here. And we've changed car, DJ. We're back in the Ferrari 488 GT3 Evo, a GT3 car here at Zandvoort. Oh my goodness, it's going to be a great race.
It's going to be absolutely electric, and watch for plenty of fireworks coming down into turn 1, going into Tarzan there. That long right-hander curved banking to be able to help you out there as we look through the qualifying order, and it is an all-Canada top 3 with Levesque, Cohn, and Cockell there holding out to those top positions.
All Canada indeed, and I'm going to tell you something else. If you think you're going to beat Merrick Levesque, I'm not too sure. That car just looked bad fast.
It certainly did, and his drivers here get ready to go and take the green flag on a rolling start here. There goes the green. Levesque gets away easily here. Cohn trying to challenge a little bit about the outside. Ooh, big move in the back. I think there's contact. Somebody hard off into the wall, but up front, Levesque continues to lead.
They somehow get it all sorted out. That could have been a lot bigger issue, but they get it sorted. Deodato having a major issue. Was that O'Connor that came out in the line? Nevertheless, this is the fight for the lead. Merrick Levesque trying to get away from Cohn and Baumann, and so the top 3. Oh, running off the row is Max Baumann, getting side by side. You don't want to do this too much, lads. This invites contact, and backing out finally right before it was too late.
Yeah, Baumann able to pull that out there and be able to get around a little bit of aggression, and that's what you've got to see here. The opening lap's the best place to be able to get that overtake done here at Zandvoort as they work their way through the back half of the track, through Schlevelock and down into Masters here. This may look like an overtaking opportunity, but because of the speed you're carrying through these corners often doesn't exactly bring it out to be. We follow Martin Alfonso Pego now as he tries to take a little bit of a look on Gianea.
Well, this is interesting because Cohn was the one that backed out on Baumann. Baumann somehow got around Cohn on that opening lap, and now you see Cohn fighting Baumann back, but I think it was a great idea to back out and live to fight another day. You're still in a transfer spot. You're making up time on Riot behind. It seemed like the best of both worlds. Jabriel Sharif in the 14 making a pass here, trying to get by Pego for 6th.
Trying to get around as they work their way through Kumho and down through Ari Lyondike here. Such a crucial corner here, pretty much flat out in these GT3 Evos, but you've got to be careful. You need to nail the exit there to try to pick up any whiff of the slipstream and maybe get a move down into this first corner. Thought about a little bit of a move there, but nothing happening as we follow on Gianea right now. The 31 trying to hold off Pego and maybe get in on Riot up ahead of him.
This is an unenviable position for Gianea. They've got to get by Riot. They cannot allow Pego to get by them. And Sharif, of course, is now closing them down as well after making the pass previously. So for Gianea, they have to make a smart decision. It has to be a calculated move if they can get close enough to Riot.
Exactly, and calculated is the word to use here, as here comes Deodato. Remember, he had a little bit of problems early on. Oh, fighting there with Gianea, trying to really get that going out as they go through Rob Slonemaker there and around Schlevelock, able to get the pass done around the outside. You don't see that every day, Jesse.
That was absolutely incredible. Deodato around the outside trying to make up for lost time. He's got several passes done in 5 minutes. He's not out of this yet.
No, he's not in 7th. Certainly able to try to move his way up through the field. We're seeing some relatively small gaps. He's going to have to try to close in on Giannetta up ahead of him. Looking out the back of Diodato, there you see Sharif and them working as they go. But Jeff Cohn up in 2nd place has a little bit of pressure from behind in the form of Max Baumann.
Cohn finally did get back by Baumann after the initial start where it was the other way around. Cohn's going to try and make a little bit of hay here and get away. Baumann not letting up, though.
No, not at all, but let's give some love to Marek Levesque, who has absolutely dominated this race. There is no other way to say it. Levesque looking absolutely untouchable here with 17 minutes left to go and about a 4.5-second lead.
I've never seen a driver that's probably not aware of everything going on around him like Levesque is. Complete fighting through the entire grid, but easy C's for Levesque.
Easy C's for Levesque, not as easy here for Jerable Sharif as he tries to dive to the inside there of Pago down into the Audi S. Working through the 23, though, looks like Pago's going to be able to hold that out. Good defensive line.
Credit to Sharif there, not giving up. Knows that they're not going to advance in this position, but still fighting for every single corner, contesting every single position.
Both drivers running a little bit wide there on the exit of Kumho. That's going to blunt their speed coming through Ari Lyondike, but Sharif now going to be getting the advantage of the draft here as they come down the long front straightaway. Pago doing a little bit of weaving, trying to break the draft, maybe potentially. Big dive for Sharif down to the inside.
Absolutely incredible. Sharif stuck it in there. That might have thrown Pago off as gives him a very wide line, and it's going to be position for Sharif. Incredible.
That is the latest of the late breakers for him as we check back in on Max Baumann, looking like he's losing a little bit of touch to Cohn up ahead of him. Indeed, a little bit of a wiggle there coming through turn 9.
This gap's been going in and out for the last several laps, DJ, Cohn and Baumann, that is, and it's going out right about now. And like you said, just something with Max Baumann's car. It looks a little bit unsettled in comparison to Cohn.
Yeah, just not exactly seeming like he has it completely underneath him there. Good diamonding of the corner, though, through the Audi S. That's going to allow him to carry some good speed down into Kumho. The battle for the lead here starting to reside a little bit. Levesque continuing to pull about 7 seconds away. Big wiggle on the exit of Kumho there for Baumann.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about with Baumann, and if you look at Jeff Cohn's car, it's completely different. That car looks completely planted to the ground. That's exactly how you want your Ferrari to be handling.
Yeah, exactly, as he works his way through the corners here with about 11 minutes to go on the clock. A little bit of a Sunday drive for both he and Levesque. The rest of our battle's starting to die down a little bit, but with a track like Zandvoort, you never know what can fire off. One little mistake, one little errant tire onto the grass, and everything can come right back around.
No, it's certainly the case, and especially for Baumann, I would say it's very important. Who's losing time to Cohn, you've got to abandon that. It was never important anyway to make that pass, but what is important is Diodato. Keep in mind the big lap 1 incident that occurred. They've come all the way back through the field. One mistake from Baumann that sends him off the road. Diodato is going to be the one to advance.
Yeah, 15 seconds there between the two, and if you make a big enough error there, that can really send you around as we continue to watch Cohn going down into the braking zone. And now for Tarzan, working his way through about 8 seconds, let's call it 9 seconds between he and Levesque. Big off in the back for O'Connor.
Michael O'Connor has had a horrible race. It'll be a race to forget, but keeping going, and you got to commend him for that at least, but that was a horrible moment.
And you can see the damage to the front end of that Ferrari. Certainly going to be feeling that as they work their way around. Martin and Pago up the road from them. Levesque, though, out in a world unto themselves, going down now through Hugenholtz, just absolutely on a Sunday drive. Also, as Jeff Cohn, he's been able to stretch that advantage up to about 10 seconds.
Sure is. Baumann has actually lost a little bit of time to Diodato, though now it's going back the other way, and that will be a little bit of solace for Baumann, I would think. And Levesque, who has led this entire race, got to give this man, Jeff Cohn, a little bit of credit. Kept him earnest. Only 10 seconds the gap.
Yeah, and especially in a place like Zandvoort, where if you get into a rhythm, it is very hard to break. I've got to give credit to Jeff Cohn, and he's going to be one to watch for, I think, once we get later on into the year and get into the later stages of this championship. This is a very reserved but very impressive drive from Cohn.
Well, keep in mind, Cohn was passed and had to repass themselves to get that second spot back. Wasn't shy away from doing it, picked his moment, got it done. Could be one of the drivers to look at later in the season there, DJ, like you said.
Could be indeed, and Max Baumann here, the other driver who is sitting pretty in those transfer positions as he works his way through the back part of the track right now. Max doing a very, very good job. That gap coming down a little bit, though, to Deodato. It's down to 11 seconds. It was about 18, so a little bit of pressure from behind. I don't know if in the final 4.5 minutes Deodato is really going to be able to challenge that much, but you got to keep his eyes open.
Yeah, you sure do. If I'm Max Baumann, I'm backing off just a little bit, but you know as good as I do, DJ, that can be curtains for a racing driver going from 95 to 90%. Sometimes that just takes your eye off the ball for that split second. You get yourself into trouble.
Yeah, and you do not want to find yourself in that kind of trouble. If you back yourself off on that aggression, you find yourself braking a little bit earlier, that's going to change your entry line. But one man who only has to worry about those entry lines for 2 more corners is Marek Levesque, as Levesque comes out of Arie Luyendyk for the final time, charging for the checkered flag. It's going to be Levesque taking victory here in Zandvoort.
What a brilliant race. Unawares of the fights behind him. A brilliant race, a clean race for Levesque. Cohn's going to come through, and so will Baumann. Those will be your top 3 that advance. Incredible racing among the top 3.
Very, very impressive there, and a little bit of a case of coulda, woulda, shoulda there for Deodato. If he hadn't been involved in that first lap incident, we could have seen something else. But we end today with race 4 jumping back to Assetto Corsa, still in the 488 GT3 Evo, but we come home, as it were, for Ferrari to the Temple of Speed. Welcome to Monza.
Yeah, it does feel like coming home, doesn't it? Monza needs no introduction. I shan't give it one. It's a fantastic racetrack, and seeing the prancing horses around here just seems right to me.
Yeah, it certainly does. And qualifying here, probably not going to be nearly as important as it was at Laguna Seca or at Zandvoort. As the draft, the slipstream, very, very powerful. Plenty of areas to overtake here, really almost into any braking zone. You can get that pass done, Jesse.
You sure can. And talking about qualifying, it was a struggle for some of the cars to get a qualifying lap in, simply because they were absolutely going for it. They didn't care if they invalidated several laps in a row, because it didn't matter as long as they got the one eventually. All the cars did get there.
And again, a good disparity there among Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. of drivers in the field here today. Always love to see everybody recognized as they were, but we line up on the grid for a standing start here in AC as we get ready to go racing, and there go the lights, and the grid is away. We are racing here in Monza. It's a great start there from P3 from Teles as they go. Look at that run, really charging on as we take a bird's eye view in the cockpit of just what it's like to be racing here down into the first corner. Oh, contact!
Huge contact. There were 3 wide. One car getting shoved off. Huge damage there. That will completely ruin their chances of winning today's race. Duran out in front of Garcia, and Z the top 3. Oh, a big lockup here from Mata.
Mata's going to find himself in a world of trouble, as that's going to be Jace Page now trying to close in behind the 4th place machine, taking prime advantage of that slipstream. Jace Page just closing in like a shark. Maybe a little bit of a lift off there, not thinking he's going to be close enough to be able to make the dive down into turn 1.
No, absolutely not. Jay's actually backing off, thinking better of it. A huge lockup from Mata again. That car has an interesting brake bias setup, if I do say so myself. That's keeping Jace Page in it, thinking about going around the outside of 2.
Going through the Curva Grande as here they go. Can Mata hold on to the inside? Can Page make something work on the outside? Here they come. That's going to be Allbrand trying to look up into position. And that's Mata. Mata around. That's contact into the side of Page. And trying to pick up the pieces here is Allbrand.
Allbrand's going to maybe get 2 positions here, maybe just the one now, side by side with Mata, but Page is going to get clear. How much damage would that have done? How significant was the contact? Doesn't seem to matter. Page up a spot. That was very scary into the Seconda Variante.
Yes, it was, and a very aggressive move for Page to be able to make that move into the first Lesmo. His drivers crossing the line, and we focus back on Gage Cornell right now, working their way along, trying to close in on Allbrand. A little bit of a battle up ahead. That is Page and Mata. Mata getting back to the racing line. Big lock up there for Page.
Seeing a couple of cars doing that, and it's just about how late you dare brake, the last of the late breakers, like you said earlier, DJ, and take a look at this back in the pack.
Allbrand and Cornell battling it out through the Curva Grande, trying to see who's going to be able to take it right now. Looking to the outside, looking to the inside. Cornell trying to find a line. Lockups there in front, and that's going to be Allbrand around.
Allbrand locked it up again, goes sliding into the corner, and that's going to demote them all the way to the back. Luckily, nobody else involved in that. Andrew Allbrand has a very scary moment. Lucky nobody else hit him there.
Very lucky indeed is coming into that corner. You don't have the most control of it as you work your way around. But here is your leader right now, Sebastian Duran, completely checked out from the concerns and calamities going on behind him.
Duran's done such a good job, needed to get a good start, a standing start here at Monza in a GT3 car. It's always going to be who can get the traction down the best. Sebastian Duran did a fantastic job. So did Garcia, if we're completely honest. Z's also found themselves out into the third spot, and the question still remains, can Jace Page do anything to contest the top three?
Well, he's going to have about 6.5 seconds to try to gain back up on him as we watch Duran breaking down into the first corner. Even your leader getting a little bit of the lockup that we've seen affecting a lot of the drivers out here today, but able to navigate the first chicane nice and easy.
That might be just the way it's preferred in these cars, DJ. A lot of front brake just to get it slowed down into the corner. Of course, front brake bias means you stop quicker. Obviously, you can't turn when you do that, but it doesn't really matter here around Monza too much. Sebastian Duran, who are we to argue, knows what he's doing, leading the race.
Leading the race and coming to the checkered flag here is Duran as he comes out of the Parabolica for the final time. Garcia a whopping 43 seconds behind him. It's going to be Sebastian Duran taking victory at Monza. Garcia and Z, the two other drivers, to advance in a chaotic race, but it is the survival of the fittest here at the Temple of Speed.
That margin of victory is massive. Duran put him on him in this race.
Certainly did, as we now watch Garcia coming out of Ascari, coming down the straightaway, leading into Parabolica. A bit of a victory lap here, it has to be said. 14 seconds back to Z. You can't even see Z entering. There he is, just coming out of Ascari right now. Garcia bringing the 36 through Parabolica. Another driver to advance.
Sure is. Garcia's going to be happy to advance, obviously, to the regional series, but we'll be thinking about how quick Sebastian Duran was.
Yeah, that's going to be a name that I think all drivers are going to be circling on the to-watch list, as Aaron Z now bringing that Ferrari out of Parabolica to take the checkered flag and take the final automatic advancement spot. And there goes Z across the line. Those are your three drivers to advance. It will be Duran, Garcia, and Z automatically advancing. Jesse, a great spat of races here today.
Well, just like that, we've got 12 of our 24 qualifiers for the regional series, DJ. Every single one of them deserving.
Every single one very deserving, and that's going to wrap up coverage for us here from Monza and indeed from the races. And with that, we will throw back to the studio and to Amanda.
Great job, drivers. I am so proud. Paul, Brennan, what do you guys think?
Yeah, really good. It's nice that we finally got the first events out of the way. I think there's a few drivers with a little bit of nerves out there, but some great racing and some very competitive performances, Brendan, and people very much laying claim to being the fastest in their series.
For sure. For the first time, people were on the stage. So, of course, like you talk about, the nerves are coming in, but we're seeing the emergence of the first talents of North America within this series. So I'm excited to see how they're going to progress.
Yep, absolutely, but of course, there can only be one or three winners, as the case may be. So let's have a look at who those 12 drivers, the top three from all four races, are that have qualified for their regional finals. Christopher Sever was the winner of the opening race at the Nürburgring, just ahead of Eric de Bon from Ryan Woodrow, rounding out the podium positions. Moving on to home ground at Laguna Seca, Brian Woodward from the United States came out on top, ahead of Alexander Jurovic and Gianluca Dorse, rounding out the top three. Zandvoort, as predicted, was something of a difficult track on which to overtake, but Marek Levesque was the race winner from Jeff Cohn and Max Bowman in third position. And finally, at Monza, the Temple of Speed, Sebastian Duran took that race victory from Ernesto Garcia Lecuga and Aaron C in third position. But, Amanda, the drivers had some good fun on track. But just like in Europe, the audience at home also have a little bit of something to win. So our first prize drawer of the day, take it away. Who's the lucky winner?
Ooh, I've never announced a prize winner before. And our first North American winner is Diego Santos. Congratulations. Paul, what do they win?
Fantastic. Congratulations, Diego. You win a Ferrari baseball cap, a Ferrari top, and 2 Ferrari t-shirts as the first prize winner in North America. So well done.
Well, since we're on the topic of surprises, I'm pretty sure our fellow North Americans are really going to enjoy this one. Joining us is the co-founder and executive manager from Kunos, Marco Mazzaruto, with some special news. Marco, nice to meet you. What can you tell us?
Ciao Amanda, and ciao everybody at home. Yes, you are absolutely right. We have a surprise tonight for our audience that I think that will be very, very popular. But I'm not going to say much more, also because I believe that when things like this come to life, it's better to let images or videos to speak at my place. So let's go and take a look at this.
Marco, I see some very familiar places there.
I can imagine, Amanda. We decided to put some extra effort to support the American sim racing community, creating some American circuits like the very famous and popular Circuit of Americas that will be available, as well as other few tracks very soon for Assetto Corsa Competizione. And that will be also part of the second qualification phase for the Ferrari Velas Esports series.
Well, Marco, thank you for bringing this news to us. We can't wait to see some of those wonderful and historic tracks later in the season.
Thank you, Amanda, and thank you to all you guys at home, and for all the sim drivers competing in the series, good luck.
Well, that certainly is very exciting news to end on, and a massive thank you to everyone involved tonight. From the drivers and participants to our technical crew behind the scene, our experts on site here, Paul and Brendan, and to our North American commentator team. Well done, guys. DJ and Jesse, that was excellent. But now that race 1 is out of the way, that means we have a whole season ahead of us. Race number 2 will hit the airwaves on September 6th, so make sure to tune in to Ferrari Esports Series.gg website. Follow us on Ferrari Esports social media channels and the Ferrari YouTube for all the latest news and developments. Well, that's it for us here from the Ferrari Esports studio. We'll see you in September.